wants to join the mob.
Betray me!
No, you betrayed me first, sweetheart.
I think that's a body.
General Hospital.
Port Charles may be heading toward another major power struggle, and this time, Sonny Corinthos could find himself facing an unexpected alliance. Ava Jerome and Drew Kane are two people Sonny knows well, but neither is exactly predictable. Now, the possibility of these two working together could create a situation that changes the balance of power across Port Charles. What makes this potential alliance so interesting is that Ava and Drew don't necessarily need to trust each other. They only need one common objective. And if Sonny is that objective, things could become complicated very quickly. Ava has spent years learning how to survive in Port Charles. She understands how quickly relationships can change, how secrets can become weapons, and how one carefully timed move can completely change someone's position. Drew, meanwhile, has his own reasons for making difficult choices. He has become increasingly willing to operate outside the expectations of the people around him, especially when he believes the outcome will benefit him or the people he wants to protect. Put those two personalities together, and Sonny could have a serious problem on his hands. The most intriguing part of the situation is that Ava may not be looking for an open confrontation. She knows that challenging Sonny directly could create unnecessary complications. Instead, she could choose a quieter strategy, one that allows her to remain several steps ahead while letting someone else take the blame if things go wrong. Drew could be the perfect person for that kind of arrangement. He has connections, influence, and information that could prove valuable. More importantly, Drew understands how Sonny operates. He knows that Sonny's greatest strength is not simply his reputation, it's the loyalty surrounding him. That means anyone hoping to weaken Sonny would need to find a way to disrupt that loyalty, and that could be exactly where Ava's strategy comes into play. Imagine Ava sitting across from Drew, calmly explaining that Sonny's biggest weakness isn't his power, it's his confidence in the people closest to him. Drew might not agree with everything Ava says, but he could recognize the opportunity. Instead of attacking Sonny directly, they could begin by creating uncertainty around him, a strange message here, a suspicious decision there, a piece of information reaching the wrong person at exactly the wrong moment. None of these moves would necessarily look like an attack on their own, but together they could slowly create pressure around Sonny, and that is what makes this possible plan so dangerous. Sonny is experienced enough to recognize an obvious threat, but a hidden alliance is much harder to detect. If Ava and Drew are truly working together, they could approach the situation from completely different directions. Ava could use her understanding of relationships and emotions, while Drew could rely on strategy, connections, and information. Their methods would be different, but their goal could be the same. That raises another huge question. Why would Drew agree to work with Ava in the first place? Drew has never been someone who blindly follows another person's plan. If he agrees to cooperate with Ava, he would likely expect something in return. Maybe he wants leverage. Maybe he wants control over a situation that has been slipping away from him. Or maybe Drew believes Sonny stands in the way of something he wants. Whatever the reason, Ava would need to convince him that joining forces is worth the risk. And Ava knows how to make a tempting offer. She could present Drew with information he cannot easily obtain on his own. In return, Drew could give Ava access to resources or connections she needs. That kind of arrangement wouldn't require friendship. It would be based entirely on mutual benefit. But there's a problem with alliances like this. Trust is always the weakest link. Ava has a history of protecting herself first. Drew also has his own agenda. So even if they begin working together, neither person can be completely certain the other won't eventually make a move behind their back. That possibility could become the most dangerous part of their plan.
Because while Sonny may be watching Ava, he may also be watching Drew. And if Sonny begins to connect the dots, he could realize that two separate problems are actually part of one larger strategy. Once that happens, Ava and Drew could find themselves in a race to make the first move. There's also the possibility that someone close to Sonny notices something unusual before Sonny does. Sonny's inner circle has survived plenty of difficult situations. People around him know his habits, his instincts, and the warning signs that appear when something isn't right. A sudden change in Ava's behavior could raise questions. Drew spending more time around certain people could also attract attention. And if one secret conversation is overheard, everything could begin to unravel. That is why Ava would likely want to keep the plan as quiet as possible. The fewer people involved, the fewer opportunities there are for information to leak. But keeping a secret in Port Charles is almost impossible. Someone knows something, someone talks, and sometimes the person who discovers the truth isn't the person you expect. This could put Ava in a especially difficult position. If Sonny discovers that Ava and Drew are cooperating, he may not immediately confront them. Instead, Sonny could choose to play along. He could allow Ava and Drew to believe their plan is working while quietly gathering information about what they are actually trying to accomplish. That would turn the entire situation into a game of strategy.
Whoever makes the first mistake could lose everything. Ava might believe she has finally found a way to gain leverage over Sonny. Drew might believe he is using Ava to accomplish his own objectives, but Sonny could be waiting for both of them to reveal their hands. And there is another possibility that could completely change the story. What if Ava and Drew aren't planning to bring Sonny down at all? What if their apparent alliance is designed to force Sonny into making a particular decision? That would mean the real target isn't necessarily Sonny himself. The real target could be something Sonny controls, a business interest, a relationship, a secret, or information powerful enough to change the balance between several Port Charles families. If that is the case, then Sonny may not understand the real danger until it is too late. Ava could be playing a much deeper game than anyone realizes, and Drew could have his own reasons for keeping the truth hidden. The closer they get to their objective, the more pressure will build. Eventually, someone will have to decide whether the alliance is worth the consequences. For Ava, working with Drew could be an opportunity to finally gain an advantage over someone who has been difficult to challenge. For Drew, cooperating with Ava could provide access to something he desperately wants. But neither of them can control what happens after Sonny discovers the truth. And once Sonny realizes he has been targeted, his response could be completely unpredictable. The biggest question now is whether Ava and Drew can stay united long enough to accomplish their goal. Because alliances in Port Charles rarely remain simple. People change sides, secrets come out, and yesterday's partner can quickly become tomorrow's biggest enemy. If Ava thinks Drew is becoming too powerful, she may decide to turn on him by protecting herself. If Drew believes Ava is hiding something, he could make his own move. And if Sonny discovers evidence that connects them, he may force both of them into a situation they never expected. That could lead to a confrontation that changes everything. For now, the most important thing is that something appears to be shifting. Ava is thinking ahead. Drew is making calculations, and Sonny may soon realize that the people around him are not necessarily moving according to his expectations. The question isn't simply whether Ava and Drew are working together. The real question is what they want. Because once that answer becomes clear, Sonny could finally understand just how serious the situation has become. And if Ava and Drew have already made their first move, Port Charles may be much closer to a major showdown than anyone realizes.
One thing is certain, this potential alliance has all the ingredients for a dramatic power struggle. Ava has the experience, Drew has the strategy, and Sonny has the reputation to protect. When those three forces collide, there may be no easy winner. So what do you think? Are Ava and Drew truly planning something against Sonny, or is there a much bigger secret behind their sudden connection? Could Drew eventually turn against Ava? Could Ava betray Drew before he gets the chance to betray her? And, most importantly, will Sonny discover the truth before their plan reaches the next stage? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for more General Hospital spoilers, theories, and updates as this storyline continues to unfold.